Good morning. We had some technical difficulties this morning, so you are getting the private showing of our bus meeting this morning. So, starting with what's left of April, not a whole lot left. We do not have school for May's on the 23rd. We do have a medic first aid course set up for that same date, so if you need your medic first aid, that is a great day to get that out of the way since we don't have school. Mount Hope and St. Catharines doesn't have school on the 30th. We have defensive driving set up for that day, so if you want to do the defensive driving that early, you can come in after routes and get your defensive driving out of the way. In May, we got a lot of birthdays. No, for crying out loud, that's not what I wanted. See why we had difficulties this morning? Ignore this saying Goddard and Renwick's last day. Just ignore that. That's not right. And that one's obviously not right either. However, this is correct. We are doing another first aid from 9 to 5 on the 28th. May's last day is on the 27th, so it's the day after school is out. So you have a chance to get it done in April, you have a chance to get it done in May, and then we'll have another class in August, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. ECC and May South Elementary provided breakfast for us this morning. We had Panera, so there's a thank you card. You can get that signed in Kim's office, and then there's leftovers you're welcome to get out of the break room. Our driver and para of the month, we're going to talk a little bit about, okay, I'm giving it away, John Mackey. We had an instance on the bus. Here in just a minute, you're going to see, look at that bus. It looks like it's moving. Well, it's not. It's the bus that we're in. It's moving. You'll notice there's no driver. The bus just started rolling. This particular driver forgot to put the parking brake on, and John Mackey saved the day. He jumped on there and set the parking brake just moments before it ended up rolling into the fence and the the fence and the solar panels. Thanks, Chris. So he's our bus driver of the month. I do have another one here I want to show you. I'd like to show you this one from a couple of different angles, just so you can kind of see what's going on. And while we truly appreciate John saving the day and saving our bus and saving the fence and the solar panels, I thanked him a lot. I said, oh my goodness, thank you so much for saving that, you big fool. Love you to death, but you could have gotten so hurt. And you can see here he comes running, you can see him in the windshield, and he opens the door and he jumps on and he kind of steps twice. My heart stops every time I watch it. And he's got his mask on like a good guy. Phew. Bless his heart. He did a great job. He got that stopped. And then our last one shows it from the bulkhead looking back. The bus looks fantastic. The floors are clean. The trash is not overflowing. The dash was nice and clean. Here you can see the John's bus on the side here moving. John's back here cleaning his bus up. And you can see the fence coming into view in the back. And the solar panels. And the bus picks up speed. And here comes John down here in the corner. I don't know if you can hear that heavy sigh. So John is our driver of the month. We're very thankful that he was able to step in and help get that bus stopped. But while we had fun with that this morning, this is a great time to mention that it's extremely important that we make sure that we do our post trips and get those buses secured. So, para of the month is Cody. Cody has been, bless his heart, he has been thrown from bus to bus to bus to van to bus to bus to van all month long, and he does it without missing a beat and without complaining much and without much complaining at all. He's been a phenomenal help. So we're very thankful for Cody. The kitchen is looking for extra help next year, a couple hours a day. If anybody's interested between routes, you can apply online at usd266.com. This is what the application looks like, so you can get on and apply for that. It is extra hours. I believe they have actually okayed the overtime as well. So if it puts you into overtime, they need help, period. We haven't done the welcome to our team in a while, so I wanted to get caught up. We have quite a few people that are new to us this year that we have not recognized. Star Mendoza, she took over Route 210, that's a minibus. Brianna Dale took over Route 18, that's also a minibus preschool. Tiffany, she is a sub for us. She drives a minibus, but I think she drives a van out to Mount Hope quite a bit for us. She does a lot of our Jabara runs for us as well. Ernesto Lopez took over Route 242 for Elena this year. Aspen, he's a morning sub for us. Steve is a CDL sub. He just started. He's in the middle of getting his air brakes. He came to us through First Student and is working on his air brakes. And Greg Thomas just started on Monday, and he's our new mechanic over in the shop. So a huge welcome to all these new people. We're thankful they're here. Our school bus drivers have the most difficult student supervision task in schools, with as many as 80 students ages 5 to 18 all behind you in a large vehicle rolling along at averages of 45 miles an hour. This is a classroom supervision situation on steroids. I love that. It's so true. We are looking for volunteers to help with the KSPTA's school bus safety competition, or what was known as the bus rodeo. We've already had a planning committee for anybody that was interested. I believe Joy is going to compete in that. We would love to have help with this. If you're not interested in helping, you should consider coming and driving. We've got 3 different categories. You can drive a minibus, you can drive a transit, which is what we have, our big buses are in, and you can also drive a conventional, which is the kind with the nose on the front of it. You can compete in any category. I can tell you as of right now, for brand new drivers, or what we call rookie drivers, somebody that's never competed before, you can apply and drive as a rookie in a transit as of right now for next weekend with no competition. So you're guaranteed a win at regionals right now, because there's nobody competing in that category as of right now. Joy will be one of them. We are holding a competition if you're interested in competing. If you've never competed in one of these, they are so much fun. This is called the diminishing clearance. These poles actually get closer and closer the further you move into the obstacle, and the goal is obviously just not to hit any of the poles. This is just one of 11 different obstacles you'll have to drive through. But it is so much fun. Nobody's there to be mean, nobody's there to be crude or rude. Everybody, First Student cheers on Goddard, and Goddard cheers on Salina, and it's just an amazing atmosphere, and it's so much fun. The worst thing I've seen come out of one of these is somebody ran over a cone and got it jammed up between the duals, and they actually had to come have a mechanic pop the outside dual off of it to get the cone out. So it can't get much worse than that. So it's so much fun. If you're even considering it, you definitely ought to do it. It is next weekend, and we'll go over that slide here in just a few minutes. I believe the competition starts at 9 a.m. And if you talk to Kathy or Chris, we can either get you set up as a helper, as a volunteer, or as a driver. I would love to see Mays have as many drivers in this as we possibly could. If you compete at regionals and you're in the top 3, you get to do a pie in the face with either Chris, Duranda, or myself. Your choice. I highly recommend Chris because he deserves it more than anybody else. And you move on to state competition, and if you place the top 3 at state, you get to shave Chris's head. That's our incentive to get people signed up to compete this year. If you qualify at state to go to nationals, they pay for you to go to nationals. So it's a pretty big deal. It's a ton of fun. We're going to try and make t-shirts for everybody that wants to compete, maybe some hats, but we're going to have some incentives for everybody to be there. So if you're interested, let Chris or Kathy know. Again, it's anybody can compete. You can drive a Mini, you can drive a Transit, or you can drive a conventional. It's your choice. So, but we encourage everybody to compete. Transportant, if you're driving a big bus, this is not on our mini buses or in our vans. Excuse me, it is on 2 of our minis. They have gone live, this is what the screen looks like when it starts up. It downloads your routes and your students. This is the home screen. If you are seeing the screen, you'll hit select route, and then it'll bring up the routes, and you pick which one you're after, which obviously you just want whatever route you're in. The other thing is you want to make sure that when you dump all your kids at the schools, when they all get off and your bus is empty, you want to click this all clear button. That tells the system you're done. Otherwise, it runs the 2 routes together as one huge route, or all 4 if you don't clear it in the middle of the day. It shows your morning and afternoons all as one route. So selecting a route, you'll have a choice whether it's morning or afternoon. You just click one or the other. And then for us, you'll have tier 1 or tier 2, and then it goes from there. So you just pick whichever route you're on, and you'll have to reset it though between routes. So if you click morning route, click tier 1, you'll run your morning tier 1 route, and it'll show you turn by turn, and then go to tier 2, you unload, and then move on to tier 2. This is what the co-pilot looks like once the maps pull up. It shows you these blue dots are your stops. This is your next stop. So here's your bus moving to this stop, and it tells you here where you're headed and how to get there. The great thing about this was subs. Matthew was telling me he ran it. There were no students on his bus, no students loaded here. There were no students loaded here, so he knew he could just go straight to this next stop. So in his particular situation, there was like a turn here to get him to there or something. He was able to take a shortcut and make it a little quicker, but it was super nice. He was able to tell who was and wasn't on his bus, and he knew he didn't have to stop at those 2 stops. So when you come up to that stop, you'll see who's getting off of your bus. It'll give you a list of all these kids. If they're getting on in the morning and Jennifer doesn't have her bus pass, you just click on Jennifer's face and it automatically loads her onto the bus. When you get to the school, you hit your all clear when they're all off. That way that your route resets and says that you're empty. And like I said, if you're a sub or your route isn't pulled up automatically, just click select route and it'll pull up all the routes. You pick whether you're running AM or PM and then which tier you're on. This is a pre and trip checklist. We're not asking anybody to fill these out just yet. This is just a standard of kind of what it looks like. It's either pass or fail or NA, not applicable. And it is simply a click button, but it ends up actually coming up as a pop-up window, and sometimes it'll block this and you can't see it. So that's why we're not asking anybody to use this. You are still required to do the paper pre-trips for now. Diagnostics, this has not been set up. Even if you do a diagnostics, all of this stuff goes to Chris automatically, and you won't see anything beyond this here. So don't mess with the diagnostics. It's there, but you don't have to mess with it. Don't click on anything. You can't do anything from the bus. Incident button is over here, this little red stop sign. These buttons here, they're actually working on moving these 4 over to the other side of the screen so that you don't accidentally hit this one when you're trying to brighten or dim your screen. But for now, this is what it looks like. So if you have an incident on your bus, if you click this button or push this button on that little screen on your dash, it'll automatically send a notification to everybody that has Transportant on their devices. And we have them on our desktops, on our tablets, we have them on our cell phones. Even the schools have them. So the minute you hit that, they can jump on there and look at it within just a couple of minutes. If we're sitting at our desks, we're going to jump right on it and see what's going on. And we can even, some of the buses, most of the buses have the voiceovers, and we can get on and talk to you as needed. Lost connection, this is what it'll look like when it first starts up. It's got to get a connection on your tablet. If you get out of cell phone range, or into a bad area with no reception, you'll also see this. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving, and it'll reconnect on its own. And like I said, this is your screen brightness. You can move this slide tab up and down. It'll also save it, so if you have it all the way down in the mornings because it's too bright while you're driving and you don't turn it back up before you leave, when you get on in the afternoon, it's going to be really hard to see your screen because you're going to have it dimmed all the way down, which you'll need to turn it back up to see the screen. We want to make sure that everybody knows that you need to contact your new families with your bus times. If you get a flyer in your box that says you have a new student on your bus, you need to contact that family. Whether you send them an email, whether you send them a text, whether you call them, it doesn't matter how you contact them, but you as their new driver need to contact them. Introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Kathy. I'm going to be your new driver. Your new bus time, or your bus time period, is now 7:45 or whatever it is for your students. But you need to make an initial contact with these parents. You need to make sure you put your name on your time cards. We had a couple last week with no names on them. Had several drivers trying to